The United States trade deficit widened sharply in September as businesses boosted imports to meet robust domestic demand in anticipation of higher tariffs on goods. The Commerce Department's Bureau of Economic Analysis said that the trade gap has increased 19.2% to $84.4 billion from a revised $70.8 billion in August as exports fell. Imports jumped by 3% to a record of $352.3 billion. Goods imports advanced 4.0% to $285.0 billion. That was the highest level since March 2022. They were driven by a $4.0 billion rise in imports of consumer goods, reflecting mostly pharmaceutical preparations. At an expo in Shanghai, delegates from the U.S. agricultural sector have expressed hope that trade relations with China will improve regardless of the outcome of the U.S. election. The 7th China International Import Expo opened on Monday, featuring 14 U.S. exhibitors from various sectors, including U.S. state governments, national-level agricultural associations, food exports, manufacturing, and packaging. Exports were disrupted by a trade war that began in 2018, with Chinese buyers seeking import sources elsewhere, and were then disrupted by the global pandemic. Oil prices have increased by almost 1% as markets anticipate a tightly contested U.S. presidential election. Brent crude futures went up by 0.5% to $75.43 a barrel. The U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was up by 0.5% at $71.84 a barrel. Gold prices rose as investors await the results of the U.S. presidential election, with polls indicating a tight race between Democratic candidate Kamala Harris and Republican Donald Trump. Spot gold gained 0.2% to reach $2,742.03. The U.S. gold futures rose 0.2% to $2,751.50. World shares had a mixed performance, with U.S. markets showing gains as voters head to the polls to cast their votes. In the United States, the S&P 500 was up 1% and the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 0.8%, while the Nasdaq Composite was 1.3% higher. In Europe, Germany's DAX edged 0.1% higher, while the CAC in Paris and the FTSE 100 were both essentially unchanged. In Asia, Hong Kong's Hang Seng jumped 2.1%, while the Shanghai Composite Index surged 2.3%. Japan's Nikkei 225 Index gained 1.1%, and South Korea's Kospi fell 0.4%.